Week 3 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I looked at off the wire this week. The first pitcher, Mackenzie Gore of the Washington Nationals, a former top prospect in the Padres system, then traded in the Juan Soto deal, one of the many parts in that deal a few years ago to Washington. And last season, I thought Gore had a middle-of-the-pack type of year. Obviously, we're one of the worst teams in the league in the Nationals, but so far this year, we're off to a hot start, 16 innings, 2-0 record, 23 Ks, a 2.81 ERA, a 1.19 whip on the season. So Gore, his strikeout numbers are up so far in the early going. This year's Mackenzie Gore for this Washington National team. And right now, while he's out there in 52% of fantasy leagues, he's definitely one of the hotter pitchers to pick up off the wire. Like I said, these guys, they get off the board pretty quick after 1 or 2 good starts where pitching's hard to find nowadays in fantasy baseball. A few outings for him. April 1st versus Pittsburgh, 5 1/3. No decision, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. April 7th versus Philly, 5 2/3, got the win. 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. And April 13th at Oakland, even though I know they're probably the worst team in all major leagues, 5 innings, got the win. 4 hits, no runs, a walk, 11 Ks. So Gore's gone out there. He's pitched great baseball. I know he's had some decent matchups in the early going this season, but also he's on a bad team, but he's performing as Mackenzie Gore. He's got good stuff. He was a former top prospect for a reason. And also in that Juan Soto deal for a reason. A lefty who's got great stuff. The only down thing for him with me is he's on a bad baseball team. And also he's not going that deep into the games where he's getting the quality starts. Like I said, the furthest he's went so far this year is 5 2/3. But right now, while he's off to a great start and there's a lot of upside, is Gore. He's definitely a nice pickup this week and most likely the best pitching pickup you could get on the wire. Available in 52% of fantasy leagues. Next pitcher is Ranger Suarez, staying in the NL East. The Philadelphia Phillies. So Suarez, he was on the ad list last week, and so far he's off to a great start as well as Suarez. 2-0 record, 17 innings, 2.65 ERA, and 0.71 whip in 2 quality starts on the season. So Suarez, I know injuries have been a concern for him over the last few seasons. When he goes out there and pitches as Suarez, he's one of the better lefties in the National League, in my opinion. And right now, he's on a solid ball club with the Phillies that will give him run support. And he's a 5-6 inning pitcher with good stuff. March 31st versus the Braves, 5 innings, no decision. 3 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 7 Ks in that one. April 6th at the Nats, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 Ks, a quality start. And April 11th versus the Pirates, 6 innings, got the win in that game. 2 hits, 2 walks, no runs, 8 Ks, a quality start. So he's gone out there pitching great baseball, and this is the last chance as well for fantasy owners to go out there and get Suarez on their roster. He's still only available as well in 52% of fantasy leagues. So this video, 50% or less, these are the type of pitchers I'm looking at this week. The next pitcher, Paul Blackburn of the Oakland Athletics. Of Blackburn in the same boat as a Mackenzie Gore, where he's on a bad ball club, and a lot of wins won't be there for him. And he's an unknown as well as Paul Blackburn. Available right now, though, in 75% of fantasy leagues. So far in the early going this season, one of the better pitchers in all fantasy baseball. Here's Paul Blackburn. This year, off to a roaring start, 19 1/3, 1-0 record, 11 Ks, no ERA, 0.72 whip, and 3 quality starts. So he's going out there, and he's playing great baseball with Paul Blackburn for this Oakland Athletic team. And he's been a diamond in the rough. No one really drafted him coming into the season. And like I said, after this week, with him as well, he's going to be owned in majority of leagues. Right now, 75% is definitely a last chance for owners to get him. March 31st versus the Guardians, 7 innings, no decision. 3 hits, a walk, 3 Ks, a quality start. April 6th at the Tigers, 6 innings, got the win. 3 hits, 4 Ks, a quality start. And April 12th versus the Nats, 6 1/3 in that one. 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. So no ERA in the early going here for Paul Blackburn, but he's versus some pretty weak hitting teams. Washington, we know their hitting isn't all that great. Detroit, they're in the middle of the pack, to poor hitting team at best, and also with the Guardians as well. So right now, his next outing is April 17th versus the Cardinals, where I like their offense. I know their offense has been hit or miss over the last couple seasons, but anyway, Paul Blackburn's going out there. He's performing. I know he's a pitch-to-contact type of pitcher, not going to get a lot of strikeouts, but he's got that good ground ball ratio going. He's putting up numbers. So right now, while he's out there in a good amount of leagues, he's a good ad this week. The next ad, Ronaldo Lopez of the Atlanta Braves. So Ronaldo Lopez was a starter, then a reliever the last few seasons, and the Braves signed him up in the offseason and have made him a starter once again, and he's paid off in the early going. 12 innings, 1-0 record, 11 Ks, 0.75 ERA, a 1 whip and 2 quality starts. So he's a pitch to contact type of pitcher, as well as Ronaldo Lopez, available right now in 62% of fantasy leagues. And we know he's on one of the best teams in the league, where he's going to get a lot of run support. And now with Spencer Strider out for the season, I believe Lopez will have a rotation spot, even if he struggles a little bit, most likely for the remainder of the season. So the first few outings for him on the year: April 2nd at the White Sox, 6 innings, no decision, 4 hits, a run, 2 walks, 5 Ks, a quality start. April 9th versus the New York Mets, 6 innings, got the win in that one. 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 6 Ks, and the quality start. And he's on a great team with the Atlanta Braves. I know out of the gate, they've been a 500 team about in the early going, but he's going to get run support, and he's got some decent stuff. So right now, while he's out there in 62% of fantasy leagues, he's a nice ad this week. The next ad, Seth Lugo of the Kansas City Royals. So Seth Lugo, he's been a starter now the last 2 seasons. Last year with San Diego, and now this season, after getting a nice contract with the Royals, he's out there pitching well in the early going. 18 2/3, 2-0 record, 9 Ks, a 1.45 ERA, a 1.18 whip, and 3 quality starts. So Lugo, we know he's always been a pitch to contact guy, even when he was a setup man and a closer at time with the New York Mets a few years ago. And last season, only 140 Ks in 146 innings. So right now, this Royal team, one of the best teams in the league, believe it or not, in ERA in the first few weeks of the season. And here tonight, a great matchup for Lugo at the White Sox, who right now are the worst team in the league, them and the Miami Marlins, where this White Sox team is 2-13 to start the season. So March 30th was his first outing of the year versus the Minnesota Twins, and he went out there and had a great ball game with Seth Lugo in that one. 6 innings, no decision, 2 hits, no runs, a walk, 4 Ks, a quality start. April 4th versus the mentioned White Sox, 6 2/3, got the win. 8 hits, a run, 2 walks, 3 Ks, a quality start. And April 10th versus Houston, a good hitting team, 6 innings, got the win in that one as well. 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks, a quality start. So Lugo goes out there. He finds ways to get easy outs. He goes 6-7 innings for the most part as well. And like I said, this Royal team, their pitching staff has been solid in the early going in the ERA department. I know the offense isn't all that great, where they're going to give good run support, even though the last 2 outings for Lugo, they've put up 21 runs for him. So right now, while he's pitching good, definitely a solid ad this week. Next ad, Martin Perez of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Martin Perez, we know he was an all-star a few seasons ago with the Texas Rangers. Then last season was a down year for him, but so far in the early go, Pittsburgh, he's off to a great start. 19 innings, 1-0 record, 15 Ks, a 1.89 ERA, 1.21 whip, and 2 quality starts on the season. So right now, Martin Perez available in tons of fantasy leagues at 74%. And he's been a pitcher pitching good in the early going for this Pittsburgh Pirate team. I'm not saying it's going to hold up, but like I said, pitching's a very tough spot to find solid guys, and guys could at least go out there and help your fantasy team. Even if it's for a few weeks, it's better than some of these probables or just guys you're streaming. March 29th at Miami, 4 1/3, no decision. 6 hits, a run, 3 walks, 2 Ks in that one. April 4th at the Nats, 6 2/3, got the win. 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks, a quality start. And then April 9th versus the Tigers, he almost went the distance in that one, but went 8 innings, no decision. 6 hits, a run, 7 Ks, a quality start. So right now, this Pittsburgh Pirate team, they're playing great baseball, no doubt about it. Coming off a split with the Philadelphia Phillies in that one. But before that, they've been winning and playing good. So here tonight, pitcher starting, like I mentioned, with a few guys in this video. And it's a tougher matchup at the New York Mets, where for the most part, their hitting's been hitting decent to start the season. I know yesterday's game, they only won 2-1 was New York. But I think they're a hitting team that's been pretty decent in the early going. So Martin Perez, lefty pitcher, veteran obviously in this league. And so far, he's gone out there and put up numbers. So right now, well, he's pitching good baseball, even though I could see him have a mediocre to poor game at the New York Mets here tonight. He's still someone I would go out there on the wire and add this week. Next pitcher is Yariel Rodriguez of the Toronto Blue Jays. So the Cuban-defected pitcher, Rodriguez, a lot of hype coming into the season here. And right now, it looks like he's got a spot in this rotation for the Toronto Blue Jays after they called him up from the minor leagues a couple days ago to make the start for this J team. So right now, he's available in 81% of fantasy leagues. He's still building the arm strength up and trying to go deeper into ball games. But he's got great K stuff, and he throws hard. And they just like what they see over there in Toronto, saying he has electric stuff, and they're just going to keep him going over the next few weeks here. Build the pitch count up and see what else he could do. So when he's made in his debut, 3 2/3 versus the Rockies, 4 hits, a run, 2 walks, 6 Ks. So right now on the waiver wire, most weeks you're looking for upside and for pitchers to break out. And Yariel Rodriguez is one of those pitchers where I think he has upside, and also a pitcher that could break out and help fantasy owners and this Blue Jay team. With the manager, John Schneider, being happy, saying he looked electric, and there's more to come, and he's got a rotation spot, and he's got a good offense backing him. The only downside is he could tire a little quickly throwing that hard, and a lot of movement on his pitches. And also as well, we know he's in a tough division in the AL East with some powerhouse teams like the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles, and even the Tampa Bay Rays. They're always a playoff team as well. Red Sox, you can never count them out, in my opinion. So right now, Rodriguez out there in 81% of fantasy leagues, and a pitcher with major upside, who I would give an ad this week. The next ad's his teammate, Yusei Kikuchi of the Toronto Blue Jays. So Kikuchi, we know he's got some trickery stuff. He makes batters look foolish at times, and also there's times where he does give up a lot of home runs. It's Kikuchi. We've seen seasons where he's given up 25-plus home runs in a year. So far in this season, 15 2/3, 0-1 record, 20 Ks, a 2.30 ERA, a 1.28 WHIP, and a quality start. So Kikuchi, he's mixing up his pitches. He's making hitters look silly, like I mentioned, with some of his off-speed stuff and attacking the zone. And he's been solid the last 2 outings. March 30th at Tampa, 4 1/3, got the loss. 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks in that one. April 5th at the Yankees, 5 1/3. No runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 Ks. And then April 10th versus the Mariners, 6 innings, no decision in that one. 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 9 Ks, and a quality start. So Kikuchi, like I said, he's got that arsenal of some off-speed trickery pitches. He's not the hardest of throwers, but still someone who finds ways to get outs, and he gets hitters off balance, and he has a good K rate. So tomorrow he's got a tough outing, no doubt about it, versus the New York Yankees. But he went out there April 5th, like I mentioned, and pitched a nice ball game versus them. So right now, well, he's available in 53% of fantasy leagues. He's definitely a pitcher I would go out there and get this week. The next pitcher, Javier Assad of the Chicago Cubs. So Assad, he was a former top prospect a few years ago in this Cubs system. Then they made him a reliever, and now this season, he's a starter for Chicago. On the year, 16 2/3, 1-0 record, 18 strikeouts, a 2.97 ERA, and an 0.90 WHIP on the year for Assad. So Assad, he's been pitching decent, I thought, so far in the early going. And maybe he's got to stretch that arm out just a little bit, but he's still going 5+ innings for the most part for the Chicago Cub team. And a guy versus the Rockies, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, no runs, a walk, 5 Ks, a quality start. April 8th at the Padres, 5 innings, no decision, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks. And then April 14th, yesterday's game, pretty good game. 5 2/3 in that one. No decision, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 6 Ks. So these pitchers, I know not many pitchers anymore go more than 6 innings. And if you could find guys that could go at least 5 2/3 innings and give you decent outings, get some decent strikeout rate and 1 or 2 runs at this point, you're going to take it. I know pitchers used to go complete games. They used to go 7-8 innings, going way back, obviously, with the complete games, like I mentioned. But nowadays, this is the new norm, unfortunately, where pitchers are only going 5-6 innings. So if you could find guys like this on the wire that could give quality starts, or at least go 5 innings, have 5-6 Ks, and be in line for victories, these are the type of pitchers you're going to find nowadays on the waiver wire for the most part. So while Assad's been pitching well in the first 3 outings here, he's available right now in 67% of fantasy leagues. And the final pitcher I looked at off the wire this week is Jose Butto of the New York Mets. So Butto, he got slotted right in this rotation. Tyrone McGill went down with injury. Julio Teheran, they signed with this New York Met team. They just didn't like the start he had versus the Atlanta Braves early last week. And now Butto, he came up yesterday and he pitched a solid ball game versus the Kansas City Royals. 12 innings on the season. He had a spot start early in the year in a doubleheader. 0-0 record. 15 strikeouts, a 1 ERA, 0.75 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So Butto, not a highly touted prospect in the Mets system, but someone who's been up sporadically over the last couple seasons for New York. So right now, it looks like he's got that 5th spot in there, is Jose Butto. And like I said, he went out there and he pitched a good ball game for this New York Met team. And the first 2 outings, they just couldn't get run support for him. April 4th versus Detroit in the doubleheader, 6 innings, 3 hits, a run, 3 walks, 6 Ks, a quality start. And April 14th versus the Royals, 6 innings in that one. A walk, 2 hits, 9 Ks, a quality start. So far looking good in 2 outings, and he's going to stick in this rotation. Tylor Megill's got the shoulder issue, and anyway, I think the Tylor Megill experience for this New York Met team should be finished. He just has been injured over the last few seasons, and that third time around the order, he's been batting practice and not really getting the job done. So Jose Butto, a decent add this week, available in 90% of fantasy leagues. So that's a few pitches I look to add for week 3 of the fantasy baseball season.